Chris Walsh, go ahead.
Miller, I got to ask, well, two questions. First one, how difficult was it for you not to talk for a while?
After the throat thing?
Yeah.
The worst part was not being able to eat because I couldn't eat like solid food for a while. So talking, yeah, I talk a lot and everybody knows that. So that part was tough. But honestly, the eating was way worse because I lose weight so fast. I didn't eat anything solid, and then I started to try and eat stuff too soon, and then I had to go back to not solid food, and it was an entire thing. But that definitely wasn't fun. It was not the highlight of my fall.
Okay, and if I could go back a couple years ago and tell you what this year was going to be like off the field and everything, all the craziness, I mean, can you put in perspective what this has been like for you and just how different it's been?
Oh, I mean, no one's ever seen a year like this. Not coach, definitely not us. I mean, I've been alive for like 22 years, and there's people who've been alive a lot longer than I have and haven't seen anything like this. This has been nothing like a regular. I mean, no spring ball, no class. We're home for all this time. We're doing Zoom meetings. And so I think I kind of applaud our coaches and the university for how well they've handled this because there's so much uncertainty. Whether that be, are we going to play? What were we going to play? What's going on outside the world? You have this entire social justice movement as well. And an election year. So I think our coaches and staff have handled it really, really well as far as preparing us and giving us the best opportunity to be able to play here in the next couple weeks.
Hey, Miller, you talked about Carl, but I wanted to ask you about two other guys, kind of depth guys at tight end, Jaleel and Cam Latu. Just wondering what you saw from them last year and how they're looking in fall camp so far.
Yeah, I mean, Cam was a guy who last year, I guess, was really his first year playing tight end. And out of high school, he was one of the most coveted athletes coming out of high school. And so you give him another year in the system to get bigger, faster, stronger, in a new weight room system, which I think has really helped him and everybody from a physical standpoint. But man, he's really developed, and glad to kind of see what he'll do this year and push for playing time here and there. And the same with Jaleel. Two guys who are both great athletes and have put the work in. And so hopefully that'll come to fruition this fall for them and everybody be able to contribute.
Okay, we'll go to Brett Hudson with Tuscaloosa. Go ahead, Brett.
Hey, Miller, having been through it a year now, how do you kind of classify or describe the role of the tight end in Sarkisian's offense? And do you think that role will change at all with the addition of Carl and some more experience out of all of you now?
I mean, that could for sure be the case. I mean, anytime you get more and more depth to a room and the more you can do, the more valuable you are. And so I guess for each of us, we want to, last year, attack whatever our weakness may have been so that this year we can all play different roles in every role. So we've been trying to cross-train a lot of guys right now. If you play H, man, maybe you're going to play a little bit more Y today. If you play Y, you're going to play a little bit more H today because we've got a global pandemic going on, and you never know who's going to be missing one day, who's going to be out the next. And so we've really had to focus this year, I think, more than others, on being able to play multiple positions. And I think that's actually really helped us and is going to help us here in the fall.
And we only have one more question right now for Miller, so we'll go to Michael Costa.
Hey, Miller, just two quick ones, I guess. First off, what did the March mean yesterday to you and to the team? And also other college football coaches, college basketball coaches have gained attention for their pushing their athletes to register to vote. Has that been a message at all for Alabama football?
Yeah, the first thing about the march, I think something I'm proud of is the action our players have taken. And not only our players, but the coaches. To believe in something and to believe in something so wholeheartedly, to go out of their way, to make a message, to make a statement, to use their platform. And I couldn't be prouder of our guys. To believe in something so strongly that we're going to go out of our way to produce not only a message and a video, but now to march against it. And the support from the coaches has been more than anyone can ask. And I'm really proud of our guys. And the voting thing has been, we've started to kind of push as players. We were trying to get everyone to vote as they should. So we'll continue to work on that as we get closer to November and kind of talk and see what we're going to do about it. But I'm sure at some point we'll try and tackle that.
Okay.
What way are you doing that then? If you could explain how you guys are doing that within the team.
We're not sure. We've talked about it a little here and there. How maybe we're just kind of raise awareness or go from there. But we're by no means sure about what we're going to do. But we've talked about it a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Josh McMillon. And we'll follow with Chris Owens. raise your hand. Use the raise your hand function, and we'll get started with Josh McMillon. Questions? We'll go to Michael Casagrande. Go ahead, Michael.
Yep. Hey, Joshua, it's good to finally see you. I know we've been wanting to talk to you for a while. Just what's this whole year been like for you? How's it feel to be, maybe one of the oldest people around there other than Coach Saban?
Well, it's been pretty good to be back. The year so far has just pretty much been crazy. I mean, coronavirus, no spring, pushing fall camp back a little bit, but I think the process, the step we've taken as far way back in the spring, the Zoom meetings, meeting with the coach, coming up here in the summertime, getting a few workouts in, like we've had something in plan, and we followed Coach Saban's plan, and it's been working, and we're proceeding to go with that plan. And I mean, it's so many uncertainties. I mean, we're just gonna push forward, push through, follow Coach Saban, and we'll see where it goes. I mean, he's been doing what he's been doing for 14 years, so I'm going to follow the plan and continue to do that.
We'll go with Charlie Potter next.
Hey, Josh, just wanted to ask, what went into your decision to come back for this sixth season?
It wasn't much going into the decision. I mean, it was just a bad taste left in my mouth from the past season. I mean, we went 11-2, and I don't want to end my college career on a bad note like that. I don't think anyone who came to the University of Alabama would want to end their season like that. So just being here, being a leader, seeing the other guys in the past, and not living up to that standard, I mean, like, it didn't feel right leaving.
Next question to Christopher Walsh.
Yeah, kind of along those lines. Can you tell us how you hurt your knee injury and just how frustrating that was to go through that whole process?
Well, it was a non-contact injury back in August. Went to go make a tackle. Knee kind of buckled inside and pretty much tore my ACL 90%. Really didn't know my MCL was damaged. Also, my meniscus was damaged, and that was just about it. But after that, had surgery and able to get back working, moving around fine, scrimmage went fine. Everything has been going good so far. Been trusting with Matt Rhea, Dr. Matt Rhea and Ballou, and everything's been going fine with the new sports science facilities. I've been getting in there, doing extra work, so everything's been going good.
Over to Brett Hudson now.
I'm curious, after all the time you spent at Alabama going into last year, what made you confident you were ready to play and be an every down guy and a starter for last year's team? What made you think you were ready for that?
Just being here, being in the playbook, playing several of the positions in the defense, knowing the entire defense. I mean, once you do something for so long at a high intensity, you develop a certain sense of confidence. So I mean, I just try to take what I apply. Take what I know and apply it to the field, and so far it's been working.
And last one with James Ogletree.
Hey Josh, was curious what you saw out of Christian Harris last year. I mean, it being his first year ever playing linebacker, that's a tough thing to be thrown into starting. And just where is his knowledge of the playbook right now?
I feel like Christian Harris has a good hold of the playbook. Last year I was very impressed with him coming in. He's never played linebacker, and he did a phenomenal job. I mean, me coming in knowing what I knew in my freshman year, I don't think I would be able to take on that load and be able to perform at that high standard. So my hat was off to him. I was with him day in and day out, kind of encourage him. But I think he stepped up to the plate, and he did a phenomenal job.
We have time for two more, and it'll go Cecil and then Chris.
Josh, hey, this is Cecil Hurd at Tuscaloosa News. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Good to talk to you. Did you and Dylan ever sit down and discuss your separate decisions, but collectively, like, hey, what are you thinking? Hey, what am I thinking? And also, how has Dylan looked so far in the practices that you've had?
I think we've maybe sat down and had 2 conversations, but I think the approach we had with the team, the 2019 season, we were kind of just on the same head. We really didn't like what the season brought, what the season was about. So we decided to come back. I made my decision and he made his, but we decided to come back together and build something strong and finish strong.
And
Sorry, here. Go ahead and unmute yourself again.
yeah, and how has he looked so far in practice?
And Dylan's been looking fine. He's been a leader of the defense. Play calling, making plays. Encouraging other guys. I think he had a pretty good scrimmage. So we're just going to continue to push forward, follow him. Lead by example and do what we need to do to ensure we have a championship at the end of the season.
And last question for Josh. We'll go back to Christopher Walsh.
Thanks. Just curious, what did you think of yesterday in the rally and all?
I was real impressed about the outcome. I was more excited for our guys responding to what's been going on in the world. To come together and actually have a march that soon. I was real impressed. I overall liked everything that was said in there, but I think this is just one step in the direction of where we need to go in the country.
All right, Josh, thank you very much. And we're going to have one more player today. Chris Owens has joined us, so we'll bring Chris up to the podium. And we'll raise your hand and we'll get started with Chris here in just a second. Thanks, Josh. Okay, we'll go ahead and start with Michael Casagrande.
Hey, Chris. Just want to ask you, you've been kind of at the forefront of a lot of the statements that have been made by players, even on social media. You've been very, very vocal. What's that been like for you? What's the message to people? I know you've probably heard people who've come back at you. What's your message for people who have an issue with athletes speaking up like you do?
Well, it's not really my job to tell anybody how they should or should feel. I can only speak from where I come from and where I hope the team would want to be represented. So when I speak out, I just do it as far as being a leader. This is my 5th season, and I want to be someone that the team could look up to and they can come to if they have any issues. And I also want to be able to, like I said, be a good representative of the team. So I don't really worry too much about what other people have to say or, the opinions that they have, good or bad. But for the most part, I just want to be a good representation.
We'll go to Chris Walsh.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris, I missed that. Go ahead and ask again.
Yeah, with that in mind, what did you think of yesterday?
I thought yesterday was really good. We had a bunch of programs, not just football, but we had all the sports that came together, and we all have the same goals and the same missions that we want to accomplish. So anytime you can get a group of people, not just football, but everybody around campus to march and have the same passion for the same things, it's always a good thing. So I was happy with the turnout, happy that we had as many authority figures on the campus that did speak out, and overall the support was really good. So I was pleased by it.
Go to James Ogletree.
Hey, Chris, we hear all the time how difficult it is to play center and everything that you have to have in your mind going on right before the snap. Can you just take us inside the mind of a center and just kind of help us understand what it takes to play that position at a high level?
Well, it's definitely it's a tough job, just like any other job in football. We got to make the calls. First things first, the job description of a center is to snap the ball, so we can't do anything if we don't have the ball. Coach Sarkisian always says we can't score if we don't have it, so that's the number one priority. But just as far as making the calls, making sure you have everyone else on the same page, along with getting yourself on on the same page with everyone else, and then having to execute blocks and play at a high level. It's a difficult job, but the coaches expect a lot of whoever is playing the center, so it's a job that has to get done, and we can't make excuses for not getting it done. So it's a lot of responsibility, but it's one that I welcome.
We'll go to Charlie Barr.
Hey, Chris. Coach Saban said that if you guys can develop depth and stay healthy up front, you can have a pretty good offensive line. I was just wondering how you've seen your group kind of come together through the first 2 weeks of camp.
I think overall the first 2 weeks have been pretty good. Like you said, we're building depth, and depth is never a bad thing to have on the team. You want to have as many possible starters as you can on the team, because you never know, especially in a year like this, if someone were to go down or get sick, we need as many bodies as we can. So, he's right. We do need to continue to build depth, and I do believe over these past couple of weeks we've come together and we've got more guys playing more positions than I've ever seen here. So as long as we can continue to do that, then I think we'll be just fine as a group up front.
Okay, we'll go to Tony Sakalas next. Tony, go ahead.
Yeah, Chris, you kind of mentioned that with the versatility of a bunch of players, but just how much have you and Landon being kind of those leaders in the middle of the line, how much have you kind of helped out some of the younger players that are taking in some of those interior roles as well?
It's been really helpful. I mean, Landon, as you saw last year, started at guard and started at center. He's played so many different positions for us, and he has so much insight, even going back to his days back at Florida State. So having him around and being able to bring along some of the young guys, and not just us two, but everyone on the O-line, starter or not, everyone's looking out for everyone. So, we all want everyone to be successful, and we also understand we do need everyone to be versatile. So as many people as we can get to grab someone else and bring them along with them, it'll just continue to make us a better group up front.
Mike Rodak, next, go ahead.
Just going back to yesterday, you being one of the key voices in that, what were some of the conversations like that led to Nick Saban being at the front of that group, walking at the front? And just what's your response to some of the people who might have questioned that? I know, for example, his daughter said that she received threats for tweeting about it.
Well, Coach Saban was very supportive. This wasn't something we made him do. This is something he wanted to do because he truly does care about his players. We didn't have to pull teeth. He truly cares about us, and he wanted to be up front, and he wanted to let everyone know that he has our backs. And, just to have him there with us and talking to him about getting him to come along and how we were feeling as a team, he was always very supportive, and we really do appreciate it because Coach Saban he's someone who's very powerful, not just in the college football industry, but all over the world. And to have someone like that on our side that truly cares about us is really special.
Okay, we'll go to Tyler next.
Hey, when you're preparing your remarks to give yesterday, when you're putting all that together, what's going through your head? And then have you got any feedback since that from any friends or family?
Yeah, I've gotten pretty much some really good feedback for it. But as far as what was going on in my head, I just wanted to speak from the heart. And while doing that, I also wanted to be a good representation of the team. I wanted to have words that weren't just mine, but could reflect for everyone, and that could, not only just show how we're feeling in times like this, but also push a positive message to help create change. You don't want to just go up there and say anything. You want to actually have impactful words. And I was hoping my words were impactful, and from what people have told me, they've been pretty good.
Okay, guys, any more questions before we let Chris go? Okay, I think that's all we got. Chris, appreciate your time, guys. Thank you. We'll see you after practice tomorrow with Coach.